Hi, welcome back everybody, it's Mike Newton down here at Lytham Golf Academy. I'm just going to carry on my theme of just doing some blade comparison videos for you, as a lot of you requested this particular video. So I've got my Wilson staff model blade irons, the irons that have gone in my bag, and I'm going to put it up against the Srixon Z-Forged. So a recent sort of launch from Srixon in the blade category. We know Srixon makes some fantastic high quality products, so really interested to sort of see the comparison between these two models and obviously give you some feedback. We've got GCQuad on the floor as always, so we'll provide you with some numbers and obviously my personal feedback on the looks and the feel and maybe what the difference is between these two irons on performance. Okay, so in my opinion here, I think we've got two real cracking golf clubs here, two very sort of classic golf clubs with the blades and two sort of high quality sort of finishes really on these. So we're going to start off with the Srixon Z-Forged first. So again, it's a beautiful sort of look on that back. We've got the Srixon, the Z-Forged there, as you'd expect, that thin sole. We've got the V-sole, which is Srixon's sort of bit of technology in terms of getting that turf interaction through the golf ball. So I've got myself set out at 175 from the flag. These are both 7 irons. So we'll get this first one hit. Okay, get a lovely strike, just a little bit of that right edge. Just dropping off a little bit short there, just left that face a fraction open. But straight away, it's, you know, it's that beautiful feel that you're going to associate with the blade, that forged head. Lovely, muted sort of sound. Just a little bit pulley on that, but just a fraction. Just going to catch that left edge of the green. So putting this 7-iron down by the golf ball, it's not a real, I wouldn't really class this as a pure blade look. I think when you put it down there, the heel to the toe, the blade length looks quite large. It looks quite a large hitting area, to be honest, for a blade. And the top edge isn't massively thin, so it's definitely, I would probably say, a more confident inspiring blade when you put it down by the golf ball. That's a better shot. Good strike, nicely on line that. Should get a bit more up there. Yeah, it's a better distance number, better strike through that shot. Again, that feels there, it feels superb. As I say, it's not the smallest of looks, so if you are sort of wanting that, maybe that playability of a forge and that feedback and the sort of control that maybe you expect from this type of club, but sometimes get a little bit scared with the size of the heads when they go really small, that thin top edge, then probably Srixon's were definitely worth a look. That was a little bit low in the face there. You can definitely get the feedback through the head. A little bit skinnier there. It's still done all right there, to be honest, for that slight low in the face strike. It's still got up pretty much on that desired distance. So this 7-iron with Srixon is 33 degrees of loft. So maybe not quite as weak as maybe other blades on the market. The Wilson one we're going to have a look at in a minute is 34, so it is a 1 degree weaker with a Wilson. Lovely high towering flight. Just a little bit pulley there. Okay, I'm just going to hit one more shot and then we'll move into the Wilson. But at the moment, you know, the Srixon feels good. I like the look of it, albeit a little bit of a bigger appearance there for a typical blade head size, but the feel and the shaping of the head is really nice. Obviously that chrome finish that you'd typically expect from this type of club. Lovely strike, again just slightly pulled, but connection was really good. Okay, I look to be stopping pretty quick there as well, to be honest. Okay, so there's about shots hit with the Srixon Z-Forged iron. Let's move into the new Wilson staff model and we'll see how that stacks up against it. Okay, so Wilson staff model in our hand, so brand new release from Wilson, and it's a beauty. Many of you have seen my review video, my what's in the bag video. These have made it into my bag, and I just think these are absolutely stunning. Just the way they look, the feel, and just the feedback I get through the club is fantastic for me. So Differences between these two clubs in the comparison, I'm going to try and keep my unbiased head on here because I have actually fallen in love with these Wilsons, is the look is obviously a little bit more compact. Definitely seeing that head size difference there, which is quite a bit. These are much smaller with the Wilsons, so maybe for a golfer maybe a little bit unsure or doesn't have the confidence really and see that smaller head, then it sometimes can be a little bit tougher to think, well, I can actually hit the middle of the golf club with this size of club head. But it is very small, compact, so if any golfer out there likes that look, then it's going to tick a big box for you. Yeah, they feel great. Again, just slightly up that left side, but the feel of those is lovely. So as I say, this is a 7 iron and it's 34 degrees, so it is 1 degree weaker on the loft against the Srixon. So we may just see some slight differences in numbers because of that 1 degree difference, but not massive, I wouldn't have thought. Okay, that's just slightly low in the club face. Got a really nice pattern of just hitting these little pulls at the moment. Consistent with both irons up to now. Clearly that's more me than the clubs, unfortunately. That was a better shot. Beautiful flight, lovely height, very similar to that Srixon, to be fair, in the height of that. A little bit straight, and again looks to be stopping pretty nicely controlled when that comes into land. Lovely, feels great. I think, to be honest, the feel between those two just dropped off a little bit into that mat on that one if I'm going to get picky. We'll just see that ball just drop off a little bit on that carry distance there, just catching that front edge. What I'd probably just say, as in a feel-wise, between those two clubs, there's probably not a lot in it there. I think they both feel really soft, really sort of, as the forged iron should sort of feel in a way. Not a lot of difference to the feel. The looks is quite a bit different. That is probably the biggest thing between these two irons, is the looks of it, the head size and a little bit of that top edge. So that's just a little bit stuck. That's going to be short right again. Yeah, it's dropped off quite a bit. Just sort of just trying to protect that left shot a little bit there, to be honest. Again, that is definitely more me. Just getting a little bit stuck there, getting that club on that inside. Not quite squaring that club face up. It's better. Better swing from me there. A bit more accurate, better distance. Nice bit of control, that's a bit more like it. So what we saw, again, in my full review of this, you can go and check that out for more in-depth review, but some very sort of classic markings on the Wilsons with that little crimping around the top of the holesel, those diamond shapes that frame the sort of grooves in that heel and toe section. Definitely what you see in the very original irons that Wilson used to make going back a number of years. So it's a little bit of that history, that character there of the clubs, but that sort of modern sort of twist, very high polished finish. So it gives a very classic, beautiful looking club. And again, as sit it down by the ball, it does look very compact and very much like a traditional blade sort of shaping. That's good. Just a touch into that mat, might just drop off a little bit there. Yeah, just a tiny bit heavy. Okay, so there's a batch of shots with the Wilson. Let's look at some numbers in a little bit more detail and see how those two irons are performing. Okay, so let's look at some numbers. We've got Srixon on the top, Wilson on the bottom. So ball speed 122.3, 122.3, so identical on the ball speed with those averages of each of those clubs. Launch angle pretty much identical, coming around at 18.5 degree mark. Spin numbers quite a bit different here. So we've got a bit more of a drop off with the Srixon one, with dropping down to 5.4 going up to sort of 6.4. Wilson, we see that higher sort of spin bracket there between that 6.4 to sort of 7.3, and obviously we know strike is going to change those numbers more than anything, but look at it as an average there, we've got a good probably 700 revs more spin with that Wilson on this particular test, which is all about a bit of stopping power and control when that ball comes into land, which is always good. We look at peak height 36 yards, very well, exactly the same with both those clubs, and 173 carry with the Srixon against the 170 with the Wilson, so that slightly lower spin number. You can see he's just creating those extra 3 yards through the air, a little bit more of a forward travelling ball. Okay guys, so there's another two very classic sort of players' irons, so to speak. So not, as we'd probably expected, not massive differences between these two clubs in terms of numbers there. You know, a little bit of difference, that 1 degree between the two, a little bit obviously my influence and my strike just shifting those numbers probably more than anything really. But I think the biggest differences between these two clubs is the look of it and the shape of the head sat behind that golf ball. And as we talked there, that can create a different level of confidence where, you know, I think with that Srixon one, definitely that larger profile might feel a little bit more comfortable for a lot of golfers out there, just seeing that slightly bit more hitting area. Wilson one is quite sort of small and very much, I would say, a traditional blade sort of look. If that's your thing and that's your like, then you know that's absolutely fine. If you've got the ball striking to go with that, then happy days. So let me know your thoughts down below. Would you go Wilson staff or would you go Srixon Z-Forged? It'd be interesting to hear your thoughts because I know there's a lot of Srixon lovers out there. I get asked to do a lot of Srixon sort of comparisons in a way, but a little bit of the underdog there with that Wilson staff model. It's a fantastic iron, like I say, it's got in my bag. I really am enjoying hitting those, so be interesting to hear your thoughts as always. If you haven't subscribed, enjoying the content I'm putting out there, then please do so. Hit that subscribe button, ring the bell, get notifications of any future videos, follow up on social media platforms, both Instagram and Twitter, and hopefully we'll catch up with you all very soon.